Over the past year or so, Twitter has really fallen apart. And, I can make a whole video about that. I'm not going to, obviously, but that's a whole other thing. The reason I bring that up is just to say that even though it's a mess right now because of the dumbass that bought it, it still has its merits. And as an NFL fan, as someone who makes NFL content, as someone who is a student of the game, one of the best things Twitter provides is people like Account Stat or Stat Account here who take data and make it easier to consume. Right? You see, this is a PFF-based chart that is marking interior lineman pass rush efficiency for true pass sets. And this graph right here is what inspired today's video, alongside my own personal, not agendas, but enjoyment of a player. So you take a look at this graph, right? You have the x-axis here is your pass rush win rate or pass rush win percentage. The y-axis is your sack percentage. There's some names here that make sense. Dexter Lawrence being high for both makes a ton of sense. Same with DeForest Buckner, always been one of the best pass rushing interior defensive linemen in the league. We look just at win percentage, Byron Murphy and Chris Jones being high makes a lot of sense. See a guy like Milton Williams kind of trending towards being up, same with Jalen Carter. Cam Hayward being pretty high up makes a lot of sense. Vita Vea and Leonard Williams are both very good pass rushers. Like, a lot of this makes sense. And then you look up in the top right corner, and Milton freaking Williams is on another planet. Over 25% pass rush win rate on true pass sets, higher than a 6% sack rate. Unreal numbers. That was just through week 12. Obviously, we're about to head into week 14. And he put up another incredible performance in week 13 against the Baltimore Ravens. So I decided Milton Williams is a player I really like. It's a contract year for him. Last time there was a defensive tackle I really liked that was playing well in a contract year, it was Nnamdi Madubuike. And we know Nnamdi Madubuike has been on an absolute tear over the past 2 years. Milton Williams is a player I made a video about last year after he had a big game against the Chiefs. So why not make another one? Why not? Why not talk about my boy Milton in a contract year and kind of get people excited? This is a video that probably, like, in the offseason, if he hits the open market, people can come back to and be like, wow, this is what we're getting in free agency, like that type of thing. You gotta think content brain with that. But regardless, I've been rambling for too long. We're going to talk about Milton Williams. We're taking a look at his past 4 games. We're going to go from oldest to newest, so we'll end with his most recent performance against Baltimore. Very excited to get into this. We have a bunch of pass rushing stuff. We have a couple run defense reps just to show you that he's not a one-dimensional player. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the tape and take a look at how dominant Milton has been over at least the past couple weeks. All right, this play right here, we've got Milton lined up over top of the left guard, over top of Tyler Smith. Go ahead, snap this ball, let this play out. So right away, you see it's a run play, right? We're running the ball here with Rico Dowdle. Milton does a great job. He's got his hand kind of inside. Not perfectly. You'd like to see the hand a little further in the chest, but, you do have a little bit of inside leverage there. The important thing is the eyes are in the backfield. We're watching this handoff unfold. And Milton is actually going to get, washed down on this play. Tyler Smith does a great job of contorting Milton and putting him down. And if I can get a good screenshot here, right here. If you see this happening to a defensive lineman, chances are they're not doing so hot on the play, right? See Nakobe Dean, he's probably looking out of the corner of his eye like, man, Milton's cooked on this play. I'm going to have to do all the work. And then Milton, because he's just built different, a really nice display of core strength and flexibility, props himself back up, swims over top, frees up the outside or the inside arm, I should say here, and wraps up Rico Dowdle, reaches all the way across the chest and just collapses on him. Beautiful, beautiful stuff here. I mean, most guys, you get them in the spot like I showed, like where we had the diagram or the circle. They're not getting back up from that. They're out of the play at that point. But Milton does a great job staying persistent, gets back on his feet, gets back up, and just rips Rico Dowdle here a new one. A nice swim move there over top of the guard just to show it one more time. Just awesome, awesome stuff there for the first play of the day. So like I said, the chart we showed at the beginning shows he's a good pass rusher, but Milton's also very, very capable in the run game. All right, this next play here is all about discipline. We've got Milton lined up between the tackle and the guard here. You notice quarterback change. Trey Lance is in, which means there is a rushing threat from the quarterback, and that is going to play heavily into this play. It's going to be a read option, and Milton plays this beautifully. So you see he hits the tackle with a swim move, gets to the outside, seals off the edge here, holds off. So if Trey Lance decides he's going to scramble, Milton is going to be able to collapse right down into his path and kill this in the backfield. Or, if it ends up being handed off, Nakobe Dean's going to be able to come down and make a play. Or Milton can still make a play from where he's at. So he knows this is where he needs to be. This is exactly how he needs to play this. He does it beautifully. Trey Lance, seeing Milton, hands this ball off. You see exactly what I said is going to happen. Nakobe Dean gets downhill, and Milton comes through to help assist on the tackle. There ends up being a hold on the play, so it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But this is a great example of discipline. This is the type of thing that coaches are going to love to see. Sure, to the naked eye, to a normal fan, this isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but it matters a lot. And especially, again, as a guy in a contract year, the big splash plays are great, but you want to see down-to-down consistency. You want to see football IQ, and having gap discipline like this, being able to play the run like this, that's the consistency that teams are looking for. All right, final play against the Cowboys. We've got Milton lined up between the tackle and the guard on the left side of the line now. And this is going to be a passing play, so we're actually going to get to see some pass rushing. Milton fires off directly across from the guard, cuts across his face, swims over top of him, and does a great job of beating him. However, we're getting a hold here. We can do a better circle of that here in a moment. This is a hold, right? This right here is a hold. You can't hug the defensive lineman, unfortunately. I'm all for spreading love and positivity, but at a certain point, you got to hold back a little bit. So he's going to start getting some penetration. A lot of guys start getting some penetration. So Trey Lance is going to scramble out. Milton has no concern for this guy blocking him. His eyes are in the backfield watching for Trey Lance. And as soon as he sees that Lance is going to the outside, he's going to start to pursue. And listen, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he picks up some speed, and he's going to be there to chase Trey Lance out of bounds. Ends up, I think this counts as a sack. If not, it's like a 1 yard, 0 yard gain type play. Either way, a really good job here of fighting through the hold, picking up some speed, and preventing what could have been a huge play. Because like I said, Trey Lance can move, man. He might not be the best passer in the world, but you give him this kind of green grass, he's very liable to split these two defenders and get upfield and make a big play. So good job by Milton preventing that from happening just with his awareness. All right, moving over to the Commanders game, we've got 3 plays all in the third quarter in this one. We've got Milton lined up right here between the tackle and the guard on the right side of your screen. And this play is pretty fun. It's going to be a stunt where Milton is going to be the pin defender, and then Jalen Carter is going to try to loop around. So you see right away, Milton, he has no regard for 67. His goal is just to cut across his face, which he does beautifully. And if you know anything about a stunt, the goal here is for Milton to occupy these 2 blockers so Carter can go up and around and get to the quarterback. That is exactly what Milton's going to do in kind of dominating fashion. He's going to occupy 67 and then light up the center here. Absolutely kills him. Play that in full speed again. Just lights him up, and that allows Jalen Carter to get a free lane to Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels recognizes this, gets the ball out quickly, still gets lit up. They call like the softest DPI call in the world right here. I don't understand why that was DPI in the sense that it was a really bad call. But regardless, good job here by Milton doing his job, kind of dominating in that fashion. Because, there's being the pin player, and then there's killing one of the 2 blockers you're supposed to occupy and getting a lane to the quarterback yourself. If Jaden holds on to this ball a couple seconds longer, Milton could be combining for a sack with Carter and about 2 other Eagles. So he does a fantastic job on this play of taking his assignment, kind of going above and beyond with it. If Jaden held the ball just a little bit longer, we're talking about Milton Williams setting up a Jalen Carter sack. And Eagles fans, I know Jalen Carter gets you going, so that would have been a really huge play. But nonetheless, still doing his job. And that's the type of play where, you see it executed well here. You build on it, you keep doing it, you keep doing it. And eventually the dividends will be paid and you'll get a huge play off of running that same type of concept. All right, this one's pretty straightforward, so we'll keep it brief. We've got Milton lined up directly over top of the tackle here on the left side of your screen. And the way this is going to play out, you send a man in motion, and the hope is offensively that you're going to get Milton to bite outside and worry about this running back. He has no interest. He's firing off inside. You've got the tackle over here pulling across. You've got a guard pulling across. So there's no one to occupy Milton, and he is going to fly downhill. 71, you see, he tries like at the very last second, like, oh, fuck, he didn't bite? All right, I guess I'll try. But it's no use. Milton's already beyond him. He helps wrap up Jaden. Jaden ends up going down with a little help from Zach Bond. But a really good job here, just sniffing out the play, you know, kind of smelling blood in the water, getting right after the quarterback, and he assists with Brandon Graham and Zach Bond for a big TFL. Final play from the Commanders game, we've got Milton. He's going to be right here lined up between the guard and the tackle, and he's going to be on the other side of a stunt. This time we're going to have Josh Sweat as the pull defender, or as the pin defender, excuse me, and then we're going to have Milton loop around, and he's going to disrupt a Jaden Daniels throw here. So let's go ahead, let this roll. You see Milton kind of engages with the guard, and then he says, nope, I'm leaving, and Josh Sweat is going to pick up both blockers here by cutting inside. Milton's going to loop around, get in pursuit. He sees Jaden is rearing to throw this football. He's got a man breaking over the middle here. He's also got Terry kind of sitting down a little bit. He's got two options. Milton knows he's got to make a play on this ball, so he gets his hands up. He ends up disrupting Jaden's throwing motion, and it ends up being almost an interception. If it was a little bit higher, Zach Bond's coming away with that. Just a really, really good job making the quarterback uncomfortable, forcing an uncomfortable arm angle. You know, obviously you don't want to be throwing the ball with this kind of arm angle. Ideally, he ends up having to like sidearm it almost, like baseball pitch it a little bit. And it ends up not going well for him, puts it too far out in front of McLaurin. And that ends up being an incomplete pass, primarily because of the pressure that Milton puts on the quarterback. All right, moving on over to the Rams game. Milton had a big one in this one, as a lot of Eagles did. Milton, Saquon, the list goes on. Those are really the only two I can think of off the top of my head, but I digress. We're taking a look at Milton here, lined up on the outside shoulder of the left guard. We're getting a passing play here from Stafford. Go ahead and snap this ball after we motion Cooper Kupp, run some play action, and Milton does a good job. Gets that initial strike against Steve Avila, a little bit of hand fighting. Don't love the hand placement here. A little wide, which is unfortunate, but he does a good job. You can't see it because of this stupid camera drone, but his eyes are on Stafford. He has locked the freak on. I don't know why I felt the need to color in that arrow. But anyways, he's locked in. Jalen Carter is stuffing up this lane. So Milton is going to loop around and end up using the space he's given to his advantage. You see Kevin Dotson there ends up crashing down with Carter as well. So Milton's going to loop around. He's going to get a hold of Stafford. Going to run him down, wrap him up, force an incomplete throw. Had Cooper Kupp wide open with some green in front of him. Could have been a nice pickup for the Rams. Stafford stepping up in the pocket and delivering. But instead, Milton uses his awareness, his vision, keeping his head up, keeping his eyes in the backfield to make sure he tracks what Stafford does and stop him from stepping up in the pocket and delivering a nice throw to Cooper Kupp. This right here is a straight up man play for Milton Williams. We have him lined up over top of the guard and tackle here. Keep in mind, this is a 3rd and 13, so big play here. Rams need to convert. They're losing. What's going to happen? They're going to bring a man in motion, and Milton right away puts his hands inside the chest of Steve Avila, gets his feet churning, bull rushes him into Stafford. Stafford pump fakes Milton, puts his arm up, absorbs Stafford, wraps him up, and brings him down for the sack. Again, on a 3rd and 13, a huge play. I'm really impressed. First of all, the bull rush obviously rocks. Like, keeping his feet going, good hand placement. But I like the strategy here. You kind of grab in the inside of the chest here with the outside hand. Use that to kind of free up the inside hand to free up the outside hand then. Gets his arm up in case Stafford was going to pump that ball, or actually throw it. You know, he pump faked a little bit. So you get the hand up to make sure Stafford, if he does decide to throw it, can't. And then you wrap him up. Does a good job of avoiding the face mask. That was something I was a little bit concerned with the first time I watched it, but he does not get the face mask. Grabs him up around the chest and ends up bringing him down for the sack. Forces the Rams to punt on the next play. Very, very good job there. Again, love the bull rush. Very, very impressed by the bull rush on that play. And the ability to bring down Stafford with essentially one arm. All right, this play rocks. A 3rd and 19 now. We've got Milton lined up in between the guard and the tackle, more specifically over the tackle's inside shoulder. And him and Jalen Carter are about to bully this interior line. So you see Jalen Carter gets an inside release here. Milton is going like directly into Avila. He's going to end up cutting across the face of him. And Carter and Milton break pretty close together. And that ends up running the two blockers into each other. You have Carter with a free lane to Stafford. You have Milton with an almost free lane to Stafford. You have two linemen giving each other a big old kiss. And Kevin Dotson, excuse me, goodness, I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. He's just watching. He's enjoying the view. Well, guess what, buddy? Jalen Carter's going to force your quarterback to step up. Milton's going to see that. He's going to pop that football right on out of there. Now, the Rams do recover it, but Milton gets credited with the strip sack. He's feeling himself. He's having a good time. It was a good day for him. 2 sacks, a forced fumble, some other decent plays that I didn't show in this video just for time purposes. Definitely had a very, very good game against the Rams, but I just love the fact that these two work so well together here, fire off of each other, force the two linemen into each other. Carter makes Stafford step up. Stafford holds the ball a little low. Milton punches it out, ends up being a strip sack for big 93. And even though the Rams recover here, it's already 4th and 19. You know, where does this ball end up? So this is the line of scrimmage right here at about the 45, or about the 40. It's about the 40. The ball ends up here at the other 33, 34 maybe. So you're losing another 6-7 yards. That makes it like 4th and 25, 4th and 26. Good work there. Not only by Milton, but also by Jalen Carter. But for the purposes of this video, I don't care about Jalen Carter. Respectfully, I only care about Milton. And Milton is killing it. And now getting on to the Ravens game, the most recent game Milton has played in. We've got him here lined up directly over top of Ronnie Stanley. I don't know why I started this clip after the ball was snapped, but fuck it, we ball. So Milton, you see the hand placement's great right away. He's got one hand here on the inside of Stanley's chest, the other one over here. The only issue is Stanley's a little bit lower right now, but that doesn't end up mattering. Milton's going to plant his feet, gets a nice wide base. You see right about here, we'll say right about here is a good place for the base. You know, it's nice and wide. He's fighting. His eyes are in the backfield watching Derrick Henry. And Henry's going to end up coming up through Milton's gap. And Milton's going to say, nope, you're stopping right there, my liege. And ends up burying him right there. Again, just a good job with the anchor. Love the anchor. Love the ability to keep himself upright. Again, he fires off and Stanley starts out lower. So Milton bends his knees a little bit, gets himself lower, and then stands Stanley back up. And that allows him to get all of the leverage on this play, fire back, and take care of Derrick Henry. So if it's not apparent, like I've said a couple times now, yeah, Milton's pass rushing stats are great. He's also a pretty damn good run defender. Another great example of Milton's bull rush here. We've got him lined up in between the guard and the tackle. We're going up against Patrick McCarry here. Milton's going to do a great job of just firing into his chest, builds up a little momentum. He explodes into him, hands inside the chest. You see the hand placement there is perfect, directly inside the chest. And he's just going to drive his ass back. You see McCarry is struggling on an island with Milton. Can't get his feet underneath of him, can't do anything. Lamar starts to feel that pressure a little bit. He panics. He can't get the ball out. Milton gets his hand up. Doesn't get to him, but Josh Sweat does. And a big reason why Sweat was able to get to him is because of the pressure put together by Milton. That pressure caused Lamar to panic a little bit, and then Sweat is able to capitalize. So a good play by both defensive linemen, obviously. Just look at the way Milton manhandles Macari, man. Just absolutely embarrasses him here. Just straight up manhandles him. God, I could watch that all day. That's just a dominant rep. And Milton's feeling good about it after the fact. All right, I'm going to say up front, this results in a big play for the offense, but it has nothing to do with Milton. It's just Lamar being Lamar. Against 90% of other quarterbacks, this is going to be a huge loss. So we've got Milton lined up on the outside shoulder here of Macari, and Milton's going to do a great job. As soon as this ball is snapped to bring a man in motion, he explodes into Macari, swipes away the hands, and just explodes into the backfield. He has no interest in pissing with him. Macari tries to get his hands up first. Milton swipes him away, fires into the backfield. And unfortunately, because he's going against Lamar, Lamar's able to pull off a jump pass, hits Derrick Henry in the flat, and Derrick Henry gets upfield for a 10-yard gain. But hey, Milton still wins this rep, gets the pressure. An awesome job by him. Unfortunate again that it doesn't result in an incomplete pass or a sack or something, but it does against most other quarterbacks. It just so happens that going against Lamar, Lamar is Lamar, and there's only so much you can do about that fact. But I mean, anytime you beat a guard so bad that he literally trips over himself trying to recover against you, you know you did a damn fine job as a defensive lineman. This is unfortunately another play where Milton does something awesome, and then Lamar is just like, yeah, that was really good, man, but watch this. So we've got Milton lined up on the inside shoulder of Ronnie Stanley here. He's going to be taking on Macari once again. So he snap this ball, and Milton is going to rush directly into Macari. Macari gets the inside hands, which is not ideal, but Milton perseveres. He keeps driving, moves the arm, hits him with the swim, gets to Lamar, wraps him up. Lamar throws up a fucking prayer. And then Mark Andrews comes down with an incredible catch. I mean, this is like one of those plays where if you're playing against me in Madden and your quarterback did this shit, I might be turning off the console and reading a book for the rest of the night. Like, just an unreal play by Lamar. But Milton does exactly what he needs to do. He does a great job beating Macari here, gets the nice swim move, gets in the backfield, wins in a way we haven't seen him win yet in this video, and that's with that swim move. Very, perseverant. Very perseverant on this play. That's the word I was looking for. Just doesn't give up, even though Macari seems to have won the rep on first contact with that hand placement. He ends up swiping away that arm, gets over top of him, clobbers Lamar. But because Lamar is Lamar, it ends up being a big gain to Mark Andrews. All right, this play here is a lot better. Lamar almost does some Lamar bullshit, but he doesn't. So we've got Milton lined up in between the guard and the tackle here. And this time he's taking on Daniel Falele, the biggest guard in the NFL. So you see Milton immediately tries to swipe away the hands. Falele, because he's so big, just gets a hand in his chest anyways. And Milton, I mean, he's struggling here for all intents and purposes, but he ends up prying that arm up, gets himself inside the chest of Falele, and he starts pushing on Lamar. And Lamar gets uncomfortable, has to run himself towards the sideline. Watch that one more time. I love the prying away of the arm getting into the chest. Lamar gets uncomfortable. Milton gets a hand on him, stumbles a little bit, recovers, and thanks to driving him into Jalix Hunt over there, Lamar has to make a throw to the sideline that is unfortunately a little too far out of bounds and a little too high for Isaiah Likely. Just a really good play there by Milton to make the quarterback uncomfortable. He ended up leading the team against the Ravens in pressures with 5. This is one of them. An awesome play, forcing Lamar to make a bit of an errant pass that does not go his way. All right, I figured since 2 of the last couple plays I showed were Milton doing something good, but the play still ended up being good for the other team, I'd just finish off showing the rest of the sacks he's had this year. So we've got him lined up on the inside shoulder of the guard here. And this play is like rabid, is the best way I can describe it. So Kirk's going to bring a man in motion. Milton's going to fire off. And he just swipes across. I mean, immediately across 63. Participates in a little hand fighting, shoots his hands up, gets across his face, flies into the backfield. Kirk doesn't see him coming, and he just swallows him. Just, like I said, an absolutely rabid play. Milton looks like a man possessed on this rep. Just has no interest in fighting with 63. Swallows Kirk up behind the line. That is a 3rd and 4, an 8-yard loss on the play, bringing up a 4th and 12 on the next one. Just an awesome, awesome job here. Probably my favorite play we've seen today, just because of the intensity and like I said, the fact that he's playing like a man possessed on that rep. All right, next up, this rep against the Browns, because who doesn't love to see Deshaun Watson get sacked? Milton lined up here on the inside shoulder of the guard. He's going to end up taking on the center, after this ball is snapped. So he does a great job cutting across the center's face, hands in the chest. I know it's a little hard to see because white gloves on white jersey, but he has the hands in the chest. And he's going to walk this center back into Watson's lap. Cooper DeJean comes off the edge, nudges Watson out of the way. Milton sees this, and he's going to seize the opportunity, dives at him. Ends up being a half sack. They give it to Williams, Number 59, Tyler Booker here end up splitting on the sack. But this is another really good rep. Like I said, just absolutely dog walks this center. You get a 4-yard loss when the team's pinned on their own 7. Really, really good job there. And again, who doesn't love to see number 4 in Cleveland go down? Because I know I sure as hell do, and I'm not afraid to let you know it. And I'm sure Milton was feeling pretty good taking him down there as well. And our last play here, a nice little half sack. We've got Milton lined up over top of the tackle here on the left side. And once this ball is snapped, he's going to cut across the guard's face again. Uses a nice swim move, gets over top of him. Unfortunately, him and Big Jordan Davis here decided to take the same gap, and that causes some problems, naturally. You got a little 2 lineman pile up here, but it's all right because Milton puts his head down. He fights through. He perseveres. He sees Nolan Smith going low. Nolan Smith can't bring him down. He gets the ankle, and Milton's going to come in and clean up. That's a 12-yard loss on the play. Milton and Nolan coming in there. God, what a first name combo there for 2 defensive linemen, Milton and Nolan. They come in there and bury the quarterback in the backfield, take down Joe Burrow. Really good job there by Milton, not letting the fact that he got thrown into another 300-pound lineman kind of stunt his play there. He keeps pushing, he keeps going at it, and he gets rewarded with half a sack, which helps bring his season total up to 5. I've shown you all of them in this game. I would like to point out the Trey Lance play earlier where I was like, this might have been like a 1-yard gain. No, that counted as a sack. He pushed Lance out of bounds. Looked it up when I was collecting these last couple clips because I actually collected them after I recorded the rest. So, that's how that works. But anyways, folks, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like down below, as it does help out the channel a ton, shows your support, shows you care, and I really do appreciate it. And also make sure to subscribe. We just hit 1K. I cannot thank you all enough. We're going to have a nice video tomorrow kind of celebrating that in the only way I know how, which is breaking down film of one of my favorite NFL players of all time. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. And also make sure to comment down below. Let me know, how do you feel about Milton? Do you think Milton's tearing it up this year? Are you excited about Milton? Do you need more Milton in your life? I feel like we could all use a little bit more Milton in our lives. And if you're a fan of a team other than the Eagles, do you hope Milton hits the open market so your team can get a hold of him? I'll tell you right now, as a Chicago Bears fan, I would do unspeakable things to get Milton in Chicago. But regardless, thank you again for 1K, and thank you again for watching this video. And to everyone out there watching, once again, I hope you enjoyed. That's the key here. I really hope you all enjoyed this film breakdown. And I also hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it because you're all wonderful people and you truly do deserve it.
Had a chance on the throwback. This was an ill-advised throw. What an unbelievable catch by Cole Kmet. And he cups it too. No movement when he hits the ground, tucked up against his shoulder. Wow.
Using that